Okay, I'm gonna get a little vulnerable in this video, but this is the literal black magic, the way to convince yourself and trick yourself into actually succeeding and achieving your goals. My name is Patrick O'Driscoll. I'm a 24-year-old entrepreneur based in Dallas, Texas. I run an agency that does $1 million plus a year, and it wasn't always this way, right? We started this business in 2022. The first year was very difficult. 2023, we started to gain some traction. 2024 was our first really successful year. And now we're gearing up for a bigger 2025. And so I want to create this video because if you just think about where I was in my shoes 2-3 years ago, wanting to start a business, wanting to be successful. And this isn't only for entrepreneurs. This really relates to anyone that is trying to get successful at something. And so I'm going to walk you through the framework and kind of show some raw, something that usually I wouldn't want to show on camera or share publicly because it's kind of personal details. Because I was reflecting on 2024, and I did this exercise in I think mid 2024, probably May or June of 2024, where we were starting to get a little bit of momentum, but I had to look at myself and be like, how do I become the man that achieves what I want to achieve? Because what I have found is that it's a lot easier, a mental framework, to think about what the successful version of you, the 2.0 version of you, would be doing in order to achieve the result you want. So instead of like thinking that you now can do the things to achieve that result, it's easier to say, what's 2.0 version of me look like? What is he doing on a daily basis? And how can I start acting like that now before I achieve that thing? And so the basic like tool that I used was Sam Ovens' Alchemy of Self document. Now, if you know Sam Ovens, he's been in the online marketing game for a while. He used to run a ton of YouTube ads. He's almost like a Tai Lopez, if you're familiar with him back in the day. But Sam Ovens now runs School, which is a massive company that partnered with Alex Hormozi. And yeah, Sam Ovens is just like, I really like his stuff. Some people don't like his stuff. I like his stuff. I like his mindset stuff. I've never bought his course or anything like that. I know he was selling a big consulting course a few years back. Now he's all in on School. But the sauce that he shared at the time, this is an old document that I got from him a while back. It's called the Alchemy of Self. And so what this exercise is, and I'll share my screen here in a second, is basically thinking about building confidence in your current self and really reflecting on all your wins so you have that confidence, and then looking forward on where you want to go. Okay. So I'm going to share my little manifesto here that I created in May of 2024, and how I literally pretty much achieved everything that I set out to do. There's a few things that I slacked on, but I can look back and know why I slacked on those things. So let's dive into it. Okay, so what I have right here is literally my 2024 Alchemy of Self document. Let me switch this to this length here. Okay, Alchemy of Self document that I created a while back. And I'm just going to share exactly where my head was at literally 6-7 months ago, and how I literally achieved a lot of the things I have on here, and now are building a new one for 2025 because I need to continue to reinvent myself. It's always a battle of constantly reinventing yourself, and your actions today or what you're doing right now obviously won't get you to where you have to go unless you work backwards and figuring out what those new things, what those new priorities are to get to that next level. So basically I'll give the high level of what you have to do in this exercise, and feel free to go research Alchemy of Self. I'm sure Sam Ovens has a video on it as well. I'm just going to kind of share my nuggets and my main takeaways. So the first thing is really building your identity about what exactly you want to achieve, what the traits you want, as well as a visual representation of what you want to achieve. And so this could be, of course, I have long-term things and then short-term. So I have literally like images of things I want to achieve. So it could be material things, can be spiritual things. It could represent different things. You want to make a vision board, and so big on vision boards and really like seeing exactly what you want to achieve and reminding yourself of this on an ongoing basis. So a few things here. So the top represents my long-term goals. The short term on the top left was an apartment, city view apartment, which I signed a lease literally this month for an apartment that looks exactly like this. And next month, or literally in 2 or 3 weeks, I'll be moving into the apartment that looks exactly like this. Right here represents a Cape Cod house. So this is a long-term goal, but since I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, I want to have a summer house and own property, or at least rent somewhere in the summer and spend my summer back up in Boston, back up in Cape Cod. So that represents this long-term goal. And this is just like a gorgeous Dallas home for eventually when I buy a house, just to have that on the vision board. Lastly, I'm not a big car guy, but I do envision I want like a nice blacked out BMW, just like a nice chill daily driver car. I haven't achieved this yet. Again, some of these are long term. I have Jesus Christ on here because big thing was in 2024, I definitely took a nosedive in my spirituality, and I'm slowly chipping away and building that back up in my faith. Here is an image of Costa Rica. Love Costa Rica. Wanting to travel more. I have a few people that I like aspire to be, or I have traits I look up to. Nick Bear from an athletic perspective, obviously like that physique, lean, strong, being able to run, hybrid athlete type. We have Andy Frisella, just his mentality. Whenever I see Andy, it just fires me up. I just think about his mentality. I think 75 hard. I think discipline. I have, is it Tommy Shelby from Peaky Blinders? Just obviously he's a criminal, but that mentality, that fierce leadership, as well as I believe he was like half Irish, half gypsy or whatever. So I kind of relate to him on that with my Irish heritage of just like a persona and that like harsh mentality. This represents down the bottom, Daniel Dalen. Obviously I got a ton of inspiration by what he's been able to build over the last year when it comes to building a personal brand. And then just some nice financial goal of $1 million in our business checking account, which we haven't achieved by any means. We haven't achieved that, but long term, obviously wanting to have those numbers just sitting on cash and growing that cash. So this is the first step, is creating a visual representation of what you want to achieve. And I think this is still relatable now. Like I can of course add some new things here, but of course it's an ongoing process. I'm not going to achieve all these things in the first 6 months, but it's definitely like my vision board, where I aspire to go. It helps me kind of get on track. So what I would do is I'd create this Alchemy of Self document, and then maybe I feel down, or maybe I wake up in the morning, I'm not too motivated. I'll just look over this, and this gives me a burst of confidence and just like inspires me to hit the ground running and just absolutely crush my day. All right, so the next portion of this is your legacy to date. So looking backwards and building confidence based upon the wins and the things you've already achieved in your life. And now this can be as simple as graduating high school, making a varsity sport, going to college, completing, like whatever you've done that's successful, you just document that, because that builds, that builds your confidence as you're going about things. So before the age of 24, obviously I was a few years into entrepreneurship. The business was doing $50,000 a month. Was working with some famous personalities and brands. So I was starting, like I said, I was starting to get a taste of that success, but I wasn't where I wanted to be. So this just talks about, and I had to redact a few things that are sensitive information, but basically just talks about what I've been able to achieve up to this point. So I had my local agency, I had clients, I literally traveled to Italy, Costa Rica, France. I did all these cool things. I moved across the country. I was dating at the time the girl of my dreams, and we're both building our own business. I'm embracing uncertainty, tackling problems hard, and overcome every single issue I ever faced in my life. Just building that resilience. I think it's really important to look back and be grateful of what you've already achieved. This builds confidence. Like, oh yeah, wait, I've already done a lot of cool things, right? So no matter what, you've definitely had wins in your life, whether small or big, and that's why you want to start the legacy to date. What is your story? Because you want to really, I just think it's such a, not to be so like egotistical or narcissistic, but to think of your life as a movie, right? It's like if a film production team was filming you, like what's the story that's being told here? And so I like to think about that. All right, let's go to the next portion here. Okay, so the next portion here is now talking about the story. So it's a combination of the past and then talking about what you want to achieve in the present tense as if it's already been done. So when I was writing this, there was a few things going on. I think I might have just engaged to my now fiance. I actually launched a new offer that I talk about here that I actually shut down because I wanted to literally just focus 100% on the niche that was working. So at the time, we were actually thinking about spinning up a fitness coaching offer, so marketing for info products and fitness coaches. But once I tested that, I just didn't really like working with fitness coaches. So we doubled down on the e-commerce niche and really just work with 7-8-figure brands to scale there. But as you can see here, and we actually, from a previous venture, we came in with a lot of debt. So we had some debt from a previous business venture where we started to we try to incubate and really build brands off of our agency, and that just dished a ton of cash at the door. So basically at this time, I was starting to taste some success. I had that debt from a few failures previously, and I was talking about, okay, now we're able to build back the momentum. We were able to scale an agency and crack a funnel and scale it past $100,000 a month at 70% profit margin, which is, while we did achieve that, the profit margin we definitely did not achieve because with scaling, costs rise, but a little optimistic there. Boom, a lot of things about personal income. And kind of long term. And of course, my fiance has her online business, so I was talking about that and my ideal lifestyle. And so this is really good to think about. Obviously, okay, this is everything we achieved. This is what we're achieving now, and then think about the future of what has already been achieved, or what you want to achieve, but in the frame that you've already achieved it. So super fun, just exercise here, right? And so you can see all this information here. Now, literally, right here, the manifesto. So again, it's overkill, right? You have to convince yourself, because the little bitch voice in your mind will be like, no, that's not you. That you're not capable of that. You have a little bit of doubt. But really talking about the manifesto about who are you? Who are you? What's your identity look like? And so these are, of course, long-term goals and long-term, again, this is what I want to achieve. I'm not trying to boast right now, and you can even tell right now I'm trying to hold back because I'm sharing this publicly, but when you're talking about yourself, that voice in your head, you need to train that voice to be as positive as possible, to be as optimistic as possible, so that you show up every single day and you're excited and you're chasing your goals relentlessly. And so what I have here is basically my long-term goal. I want to be a millionaire entrepreneur, own a bunch of businesses. I'm an investor, I'm a philanthropist, I donate my cash, I have proprietary marketing systems, I have a skill set, I contribute massive value to the marketplace. I work with 7, 8, 9-figure companies and install lucrative frameworks into their business. I've mastered the art of business, and I've developed a foundation to scale businesses consistently. I love business, I love entrepreneurship, I want that to be my identity, and I want to do great things with that. I want to crush it for my clients. I want to acquire brands. I want to scale brands, right? This is all talking about my manifesto, what I want my identity to eventually be, talking about where I live. So I say here that I have a beautiful property in North Dallas. I have a large house, that's farmhouse and modernity. Get down to the details of exactly what you want to achieve, right? I think obviously Think and Grow Rich is a classic entry-level book that a lot of people recommend, but I think there's a lot of, not talking about the woo-woo thing, but just the importance of talking about big goals and literally visualizing and thinking about exactly the little details of what your life looks like, the goals that you want to achieve, okay? And so it looks like I skipped the Patrick O'Driscoll identity, but then my goals. So 2024 goal, TVG will consistently achieve $50,000 to $100,000 a month. Again, not these profit margins. That's pretty crazy looking back, kind of naive for me to say that, but definitely achieved well over this, which is great. Build a strong, lean, strong physique. I feel like my fitness definitely took a backseat in 2024. But I mean, in terms of my current athleticism, I'd say above average, but definitely not where I want to be, but still obviously it's a work in progress. All these are going to be consistent work in progress this year. Financial discipline, I'm extremely healthy financially in my personal life. Like I said, in the beginning of this year, came on with a lot of debt. I have student loans. I have all this stuff going on while trying to build a business. There's a lot of financial discipline that needed to be put in place. And so from this, I started to be extremely disciplined about my personal finances, literally running my personal finances like a business, and making sure that things dialed, improving my relationship with God and growing spiritually. I definitely think I have. I'm not the level that I want to be, but at the time of writing this, I know I was definitely kind of not on that track by any means. Growing a personal brand, definitely not the level that I wanted to be, but started to build that momentum, and definitely in the business space, my personal brand has helped me really grow my business. So it's been beneficial in that way. And so literally there's Sam Mullins gives a bunch of affirmations here about what you can do. I'm not someone that wakes up in the morning and looks myself in the mirror and says these affirmations, but it's good to just say, just confirm these things and just write them down, maybe take a glance at them. Because you have to obviously do the actions. This isn't just some woo-woo thinking thing. You just think your way to success, but it's just about getting excited. I look at this and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I wrote all this down 6 months ago. Now I'm going to build out my 2025 one. It's going to be even bigger. And so you write a bunch of affirmations, trying to figure out what you want to be, because you have to think about that person, right? It all goes back to thinking about the 2.0 version of yourself before becoming that person. So I'm a master marketer. I can sell any product. I have the best growth marketing team in the e-commerce space. I do what I say I'm going to do. My word means everything. I'm intelligent. I don't fall in the face of adversity. I'm an entrepreneur, unemployable, like just talking about that and really just building my identity. So now I know, like, I'm super self-aware. I'm knowing my pitfalls. I'm knowing my shortcomings, but I'm looking at what's that 2.0 version of myself, really starting to flood myself, because it starts in your mind, right? Before you even actions, you have to start to believe that you can achieve what you're set out to do. And most people just start, and the reason why they fail is because they just start doing these actions that they think will lead to success. And then if it doesn't, they just crumble in a few weeks. You have to know the long-term. You have to see the long-term vision, and this will ultimately get you to where you want to be. I hope you got a little bit of value from this. I encourage you to look up it's called the Alchemy of Self document. I'm sure it's online somewhere. It's pretty much like this. There's a little bit, goes more into detail, like more questions, stuff like that. I probably did it quick. I spent an hour on that, just looking at the template that Sam Ovens shared, but literally do this. I swear to you, this stuff works, because you need to really envision yourself in the future to achieve what you want to achieve. You have to look yourself where you want to go. You have to have exact direction, then have maniacal focus on that. If I was just all over the place, or I didn't write things down, or I wasn't journaling, or wasn't documenting, or just literally constant thoughts in my head about where I'm trying to go, you'll lose focus of that. There's so many distractions, social media, it could be your friends, bad people in your life, bad influences that are leading you down the wrong path. You get really solid on what exactly you want to achieve, and then you have that documented. Then you can reference it if you're feeling unfocused, if you're feeling like you're not as productive as you want to be. You can look at this document, get locked back in, and literally achieve what you set out to achieve. So I'm going to now probably this week build up my 2025 one. I know it's March, but I was looking back at that man, I need to do this again, because I need the 3.0 version of myself now. And it's a constant battle, constant improvements, right? So think big, document this, and just constantly reference it back. It has worked wonders in my life, and I think it'll work wonders in yours. So that's all I got today. If you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, drop a like down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.